Hello and welcome to Patrick's Models and Transport. Welcome to episode 2 of the Airfix Booking Hall refurbishment. So we're going to begin painting. I had said in a previous episode, in the episode 1, that it's a bit warped. Look at that, it's a bit banana shaped, but it'll be okay once it's painted and ready. Right, what we're going to do now, we're going to begin painting. And I looked up a lot of photographs. I'd also looked previously at the same station on Eric's Railway 187 channel, Railway 187's channel, or should I say more correctly Railway 176, because it's the 00 version of his latest layout, and his station is painted white and green with a grey roof, etc. And also there's that very, very beautiful what do you call it, footbridge, the enclosed footbridge. That's also very nice. And anyway, I had a look at some photographs and I found a very nice station on the Highland Rail, on the Highland Line. I can't remember the name right now, but it's there on the. I posted a video this afternoon, and so I've decided to follow the same green and white route. Of course, there are some differences because the Scottish station on the Highland Line, there's a brick structure down here, so this part here will be painted. I hope the light's good here because I always do these things later in the day. I end up never doing things in daylight. Okay, so maybe the lighting is better. So on the rail station, the lower part here is brick. So this will be brick red, which I'll have to mix. I'll have to mix a brick red. And the upper part here is white. But that station is actually got a brick wall base one, then it's built in wood and things like that, and it's got some kind of a very, very nice wall finishing. But of course, in our case, the station is actually all made of bricks. So one idea was to just leave it all brick, but I don't really know how nice the green windows directly on brick would look like. And it's also a pretty small thing, and maybe having a nice, also I'm going to paint the valance here white, so I was thinking to combine. The colours will be like this: brick here, white. White bricks are exist. So we could have a white brick wall, definitely. Or, in fact, here I've got some white. And I'm trying to use colours that are directly from the bottle. I don't want to mix, because I do mix colours to obtain specific colours. I'll have to anyway mix some brick red, and that'll anyway. But see, if I don't have that much brick red to mix, it's easier because I can get all the brick red that I have to paint. So all this lower part of the wall here, I can get that all done in one session, 2 sessions. So I don't need to mix too much paint. Probably I'll put some yellow in the red or something of the kind to get an orangey colour, then after I'll weather it. So the idea is to use white, so white bricks. White bricks would also match the goods shed, and the goods shed is also painted, it's, the goods shed, the Jouef goods shed, which I'm planning probably to leave in the 00 layout. So that's already in white bricks, which I have weathered, and this can be the same. Okay, so white here, white bricks, red bricks, green gutters, green gutter downpipes, green brackets for the canopy. The canopy will be painted grey underneath, so both underneath and on top. This part here, the valance will be white. The roof slate grey. These chimneys will be normal red brick. And the slate grey, we can even paint the whole roof. We can paint the slate grey, because I've had a look at some photographs of slate roofs. Often the crown part here, they're tiles, black dark tiles, so the same colour as slate, so we're okay. Right, let's begin. Bit of work. Right on. So we'll begin painting a wall white. Where should I begin? Let's begin. Where do we begin? Where shall we commence this job? Let's begin here. We'll begin here. Check the paint up. This is a new Vallejo, matte white. I also have gloss white, but we're painting it in matte white. And where are we going to put this? Maybe I should. For this job, I'm working mainly in light colours. I won't use this. I generally use the same palette all the time. Let's get the other palette. Right, we'll use this one. This is a palette I usually use for poster paint, but lately the poster paint I use a different one. So this one here is going to be used for the acrylics. So let's just choose one of these, put some paint in here, and get cracking. Now, I always, you can't see what I'm doing. I should have the phone right in front, but I find it more practical like this. Okay. Okie doke. Right, let's begin. We can just try and have a bit of ergonomy around here, a bit of ergonomics. Okay, we're working here. You can see what I'm doing. Let's get a brush. Now I always dilute my paint with a little water. Normal tap water. I don't use diluting solution or anything. I don't use acrylic paint thinner. I just use a little bit of some water, and that does the job. That's my solution. Let's get a number 2 brush here. I thin it a wee bit, not much. Plus the first coat is always best to thin things down a bit. Okay, let's start. So we have to be careful not to cover this part here. Where are we going to begin? There's a pretty footery job here, huh? We're going to have to use plenty of thin brushes. I think number 2 is pretty thick. Let's get a number 1. Number 1. I like that the brick comes quite dirty, so we might not even have to do much weathering on this. have to use thinner brushes here because, and the windows, I'm going to paint the windows white, the window frames, but I'll paint the lintel on top, the windowsill, and the frame around the white frames, I'll paint that green. So that we really, and the doors will be green as well. First we do all the white painting, we don't want to have any overlapping with green. I'm not going to sit here painting the whole thing together, but we'll begin. Oh, we need a thinner brush here, absolutely. Thinner brush, thinner brush, thinner brush. What are we using? Let's use a 0. I've actually got 0 size brushes in better nick than this one here, but well, I'll begin with this one. I have to be careful with the doors because the doors are really flush. Okay. We'll make a wee bit of mess in the windows, it doesn't really matter because anyway, they have to be will be painted green. I'm going to have to use really a thinner brush here. Better begin with white, because then anything that's been painted white can be covered with another paint, so it's not really a problem. I might dilute it a bit more because it's the first coat, and if things go by capillarity, it might make my life much easier. See? Yes, that's much better. Capillary effect painting. Okay. This way I'll decide now whether to paint the windows all green. I might even not bother, I might paint the windows all green, not white and green. I'm thinking of simplifying my life. You get the idea as you go along, that's the whole point. I really can't see well, I'm going to have to put enlarging specs on top of my reading specs. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now we'll just get another brush here. This is number 2. We can easily put it on a bit wetter here. Well, definitely we'll be going on with a kind of wet white. That way the wall stays relatively not too white, you see. And it will be still have the three-dimensional brick effect. Use one of these jobs where you use a lot of brushes, because you have to keep changing brushes. A clock has to go there. But we can actually paint over the clock, because anyway then I'll glue a clock face there. I'll make a clock. So we don't need to get too complicated there. As I told you in a previous video, I've already put undercoat. Spot of white there. I'm going to do another wee bit, then after I'll put undercoat on this to make the paint stick better. Oh, disaster. I got some white there, that doesn't really matter, because anyway that has to be painted white to balance. And I knock water all over the place. Fantastic. There we go. I'm trying to finish this side here, 18 minutes. I mean, it's not, if, so, what do you say? Should I think that if I paint the windows white, and then I go and paint the frames around them green, I'll go absolutely daft. So I think, this is my idea, is to paint the windows green. What I could do to make the green, so I could I'll paint the window frames green, but then once I've painted them green, using a very, very fine brush like this one, I'll show you what I'll do. I'll sort of I could go around the inner part of each window pane very gently, like that, and make a kind of white border. That could be an idea to sort of make like sometimes darker painted windows on these British windows have a sort of relief line inside, no? Interior. So that could be an idea. And I could actually even do that using not a brush, brush is a bit of a palaver, but I could use an Uniposca. Let's see if it's feasible. But I'll use Uniposca once I've painted the frames green. So let's see if we can work an Uniposca in here, or if it's easier to do with a brush. I wouldn't know. That could be doable. First I paint it green, and then I just take my Uniposca and I do this to each one, just to put a slight white relief like that, you see, and that would give it, take away the sort of dulling green effect. That's an idea. What do you say? Let me know in the comments. That could be an idea then. Anyway, they have to be painted, so it's not. It's going to take some time to do this job, and there's a lot of windows. A lot of windows. Because you can see here that it's painting it all white and then painting this stuff here green. Just this bit here is a heck of a job, because it's very, very fine. So better paint the window frames green. Better. I'm thinking whether to, yes, and better get the white paint done on the walls first, because, so first coat of paint will be wet, a nice wet coat, and then we can give it a second coat less wet. This way it goes in. We'll definitely give it a second coat because it looks a bit like a dog's breakfast, but the first one we give it particularly diluted. Okay, very well. It doesn't look very, it's not really, doesn't look wet, it doesn't look very nice now, but it's the beginning. The first coat always looks like a disaster. Okay, so let me know if you enjoyed, let me know what you think of this. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell, and what else do I usually say at the end of this thing here? And of course, let me know. I already told you, I already asked you to do that before. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Cheerio, and see you next time. And maybe we'll try and do some work in daytime, but they've moved the clocks back, so I don't know, forward, back, can you mind? They moved the clocks back, not forward. You sleep an hour less. Okay, chaos. Cheerio, and see you next time.